여기 앉아. 앉아. 거기 앉아. 준비.
엄마 이거 좀 봐. 엄마 이거. 엄마 이거. 다운 거 있다 엄마 여기. 떨어졌어 근데. 나는 이거 1초 샀습니다.
흔들어는 거.
Yes, I am.
But this is 1,000. 1,050.
Usually the next one is
50,000.
you see what number it is.
50. Yeah. Ow. Yes, I can. If I had some more, if I had it could take me one day. Thank you.
Right? Go for it. Is that Korean? No, you don't. No, I was over there, Team Spirit itself. You were there? Yeah, Team Spirit.
An elevator takes you up. An elevator takes you up.
Okay, ready? Yeah, let's go. Okay, have a nice day. Okay, enjoy yourself.
Thank you.
You guys don't put your hand on my shoulder. Cause I'm gonna take you and throw you in the stove somewhere.
That's when I moved. Another one.
I'll put you guys up and throw you in the stove.
Would you like me to read it to you? General Sherman, the General Sherman tree, largest living thing on Earth. You can read that part, right? Yes, I can read that. Sherman tree stands as the ultimate example of the growth potential of the giant sequoia. And then they give me Latin. Other types of trees are taller or thicker at the base. No other living thing on this planet exceeds the volume of this giant sequoia. General Sherman tree owns its mid-sized nut.
They're twins.
But rather, its very rapid growth rate. Over 2,000 years, this tree has survived numerous fires, climatic change, and even the coming of modern man.
Yeah, only listen to some nice music. 와.
아빠 어떻게 이렇게 잘랐어? 아빠?
글쎄. 나무가 불타면서 쓰러지면서 이렇게 됐나 봐.
그러면 사람이 이렇게 들어가지고.
주민. 주민.
무슨 거야?
Isn't it? Feels good.
That's on 36.
Dropping down?
No, I'm not going. Yeah, we're staying in here. We're staying.
I thought we were going to go out.
Mom, you're
Maybe you would stay.
You guys I said I want to go fish. 기다려봐.
준민아, 준영이 내려와봐. 준민이 좀 찍어줄게. 준영이 내려와. 여기다가 크리스마스 트리를 하나 봐, 여보.
그래, 시원.
이 나무에다가 크리스마스 되면은
주민 앉, 서. 저 앞에 서.
크리스마스 트리야.
일로 와봐.
엄마 쓰러지도 못하겠다. 앞에 있어, 그냥 앞에. 해. 저 앞으로 나와.
I have short news here.
네.
This is a short.
크게 얘기해야지.
This is his house. Far from so good. Okay. 뉴스를 마치겠습니다. 안녕히 계세요. 근데 저 뭐가 유명한 거야?
You guys can go over there. You get over there. Go with your family. No, you guys are over there.
나 정치적 뭐.
기다리지 마. 기다리지 마.
We're trying to take pictures. Let's go, we're out of here.
준민 보여. 준영 아 위에서 폭포 보여? 아 위에.
저기.
응.
맞지?
안 오는 거좀 흘러내리잖아.
맞다. It's moving.
같이 서 있어 둘이서.
나 혼자.
아니야 둘이 서 있어. 이쪽으로 좀 더. 준민 이렇게. 뒤에 쭉.
Brian, they're going down to where
Michael and Stephen went ahead.
Yeah, there they are. They're down.
This is the table TV news. The rock is so big. I mean, you could.
Dad, you want me to carry that?
I don't think that's really good. But I think it is. Sometimes they sleep and they like float around. And why don't I think I will next time when there's my food? I don't know. There are fishes in the lake. And I don't know why. There's stupid people trying to take a picture. But he's trying to take a picture of the stupid guy. This is the crazy guy. A crazy guy trying to dive down and find a fish in that time. There's a lot of fish in that time. The rock is the best thing in all around space. And I don't believe and I don't get it. I don't get the big rock. It's so big. So huge. And there's a crazy guy saying whatever he said. Here, that's the biggest rock in the whole world. In the world, that rock's bigger than the world. That rock's bigger than the star. That one's sure bigger than that one's. Keep bigger than the car whipping and the tree.
쟤는 어디로 가? 이쪽에서 찍었어.
저걸 지금
Cable TV is that.
우리 뒤에 색깔.
The big rock is so believable. I can't believe it.
보이지 제가.
So, bye. Hello, I'm back. Wait, stop.
또 이쪽으로 올라.
이거 움직여야지, 임마. 이쪽에서 찍지 그랬어.
Cable TV news is back. That's the best rock. The best rock for the mountain, the statue, the best. There, billion, Really sorry. I can't believe it. This is the most best traveling for me right now. It's the branches. Branches, the lake, rock, the tree, everything, the mountain, everything on this. Everything on this park. Everything on this park. This, even this, everything. Said everything, okay?
뭐 한 번 눌렀다 나왔습니다. RES 들어와?
RES.
REC.
나장 여기. KTAA News.
네가 움직이면 안 돼, 너는.
KTAA News. KTAA News. Here's rock. Rock, biggest hole in the rock. Bigger than the rock on the city. I can't believe it. And look up there. See, look up there. A lot of those green stuff up there. And down there. Down here. See, look at those. And look at me, toward me. And look at the news. KTAA people are all out there. They're chickens. They want to.
저기 키티 생일 학습. 저기는 볼 헤어고 그 다음에 two eyes 조그만 긴 eyes가 있습니다. 저거는 다 사람들이 공룡이랍니다. 공룡 브론토사우루스 아니면 공룡 트라이서토ps 그리고 박치기 공룡 또 박치기 공룡 그리고 여기는 요살미리입니다. 요살미리 한국 사람들은 촌놈에서
기다려.
안녕하세요. Yes, I got it.
안 되네.
A little more. Got it. Mom got it.
Yes. Look, all around, all the fountains, all classes, all of our families, all of the world people. Oh, that's all the
주민이 찍었는 거 아니야?
hands. Then they have to get a microscope. Look up there. Look at our dad. He's trying to get us over there. Let's go. Let's go. Keep the news. We're not going to finish it. Huh? Come on. The KTN news. This is the thing on the benches. Dad's going to get another tree. He's going to do it. And look at that tree. Me and my mom, and my dad, they all have to stand by the tree. And
빨리.
아 이제 그만 가.
엄마나 나 이거 다시
싫어.
풀었어 내가.
아유. down from the back to the front.
뛰어요.
The conservation site. All right, right to the left-hand side there, we have a mosaic. The mosaic was a gift to the city of San Antonio from Mexico back in 1968. They take a Mexican artist named Juan Corme 121 days to complete the mosaic. The mosaic does illustrate our past, present, and future.
저기가 워싱턴. 모nument보다 더 커.
그래, 더 높대.
Anyone looking? Does anyone think they found it? Well, if you find it up there, you let me know.
What?
Last time I checked, it was 2 blocks down that way. I'm just kidding, folks. It is a complete stop and exit to the right-hand side.
그래 알았어.
This one find out.
일로 와봐.
Reaching for the stars since the beginning of time, but this is the first generation to actually make it into space. We've been laying the groundwork for trips to Mars for more than 80 years. At Rocket Park are some of the launch vehicles that are stepping stones to get us there. These rockets are not in use any longer, but scientists and engineers often refer to them for research even today. The huge rocket lying on its side is the Saturn V. It's 363 feet long and 33 feet in diameter. That's the largest rocket ever created by the U.S. It was designed specifically to launch humans to the moon. It was incredibly powerful and very successful. The Saturn V launched 10 manned missions, sent 24. V was later modified to carry Skylab into space. The tram will pause here for a moment for you to look, but please remain seated. To the far left of Saturn V, the mid-sized gray rocket on the yellow launch platform, which resembles the upper stage of the Saturn V, is called Little Joe 2 and is typical of the dedication to safety at JSC. Notice that very small rocket, or LES, developed for the Saturn V. If there was a problem with the main rocket on the launch pad, or shortly after liftoff, that smaller rocket would take over and lift the Apollo capsule off and guide it to safety. The LES worked great, but thankfully it was never needed. Next to Little Joe 2 is the small black and white Mercury.
A storage module, and a cruise escape and return modules. Everything work in outer space. In order to get a better perspective of the space station may look like, if you raise your eyes to the opposite wall, you'll see our current design of the space station. As you've heard, the space station will be redesigned. When that work is complete, the mock-ups and trainers inside this building will reflect any new changes in the design. Now, if you're interested in learning more about life aboard the space station, we've got a great show back at Space Center Houston called Living in Space. It's in a long white module in the Museum Space area. Okay, let's make our way down to our next stop.
You have to know how to swim first. 시험아, 좀 비켜봐.
I can barely see myself at the top of my head. No one's behind me.
Pretty neat pool, huh?
No one's behind us.
Okay, that's got all that steam.
Shut down there, why?
So that's the
Yeah.
Still playing there. Oh, people are behind us now. No, just put your window straight.
Pretty neat pool, huh?
Stand right here and go. No, break the window and jump in. Before you jump in, before you sit in the water, not so far, the water's in there. Jump in the water.
These conditions. But that's not all. Here in the WNF, we test designs, developing improvements and test articles, tools, and procedures, leading to safer, more successful missions. And during an actual EVA in space, we'll often be standing by here, just in case the astronauts in orbit run into an unexpected problem. In that case, we duplicate their circumstances here in order to help develop successful solutions in space. During your visit today, here are some of the things you should look for. First, of course, you'll see the pool. It's hard to miss. It's 25 feet deep, 33 feet wide, and 78 feet long. That's big. How big? Well, big enough to hold an all-tanker truck or a two-story house. Or, in our case, big enough to hold a full-scale duplicate of the shuttle cargo bay. On the other side of the building, you'll notice some of the mock-ups that we put into the pool to simulate different payloads for astronaut training. Part of my job is engineering and overseeing the production of these mock-ups. That's where my math and science background comes in. This is the test director, who has two-way voice communication with the astronauts and all test personnel. Through an underwater sound system, the expert safety divers assisting and protecting the astronaut can hear the conversation. The astronaut has his or her own environmental system, circulating air and water to regulate temperature through the umbilical hose. But for the comfort of the divers, we keep the pool heated from 88 to 93 degrees. This lengthens the number of hours they can spend underwater in support of the training exercise. When work is underway, we have a system of underwater cameras to help us monitor test progress and safety. And safety is number one here. That's why you'll see an ambulance standing by whenever we have an EVA suited subject in the water. In case of an accident, our subjects could be rushed to a decompression chamber here at NASA within minutes. By the way, we've never had an accident here, and we're determined we never will. Finally, you may wonder why the building is round. Back in the 1960s, this was the centrifuge used to test and train astronauts for the high G forces of launch and re-entry. When we no longer needed the centrifuge, we recycled the building, adding the pool. On behalf of all of us here at the WNF, we hope you enjoy your visit. Thanks for coming.
Go in there.
준영아, 준비해 써봐. 준영아, 아빠 봐. 준민. 빨리 가.
I'm not afraid of it. Why I crash your face up to the I showed him who was
How much were you up?
내가 사진 나와 더 올라갔어 서 있어. 위에 있는 거 이렇게 사진에 더 올라가 그래. 이리 와. 자 봐봐. 이리 와. 또 앉아 어디? 누가 먹었지 사진 좋아하는 거. 네.
이리 와 옆에 흔들지 말아야지. 흔들으면 사진 안 나오잖아. 할머니랑 같이 써야지.
앞에 쓰세요.
이쪽으로 가자.
일로 갈까요?
이리 와, 얼른 와.
안 찍어 빨리.
저거 찍어주라. 예.
밀어 들어가. 눈병나.
얼른 와. 준영아, 이리 와, 준민아.
어제 넥스 사람 뭔데?
네, 얼른 와. 얕죠요.
아이고.
모자에 다 적으면 어때? 너도 찍어야잖아. 그래 찍어.
너 똑같이 잡고 찍어 왜?
왜? 한국에 또 그러네. 엄마. 찍어요.
자, 너도 셋이 서봐.
아유 준영아 손으로 그러면 안 돼.
아유, 손 보내주면 안 돼.
나무에서 못 찍어. 사막을 찍어야지.
이따가 또 찍어 엄마 준비라.
저 앞으로. 내가 이거 찍고. 똑배가 안 나오잖아. 똑배가 쳐야지.
조그만 거 맛있다 이거. 형! 이거 다 조그만 게 맛있다.
여기 시켜도 조그만 게 맛있다. 좋은 거. 여기 있다. 형 여기 봐. 이런 것좀
You guys, out.
누가 누군지 모르겠는데 찍어놔. 아이고 발 다치겠다.
No, I hide under water. Right now I'm trying to move over. I hide under water. I'm gonna come out somewhere else. When you recharge energy, you pull up. Oh, pull up. Yeah, you go there. I just got energy. No, I just get the energy. You don't know how? No, how is that over here? Time out. Time out. I said time out. Oh, you like time out is getting out the school? I'm not to do my hand. You go like this. Don't hang around. You gotta be out of the thing. You're dead. Let's do that. I won.
다리는 연습하고 예쁘네.
Game is the loser. Game
You gotta give me the power. But you're dead.
야, 우리 들어가자. 이제 그만. 아, 되냐? 아니, 너 나 그랬더니 몇달 안 하다, 여기 아침에. 그냥 하고 싶어야 되는데, 또 아프다 그러면은 또 데리고 오고, 아유, 그러고 싶다.
Ready? Get set, go!
우리 개들 좀 스트레스는 없어. 그거 받았더라, 기수는. 스트레스도 저기 뭐, 그거 받았더라고. 큰애는 뭐, 전부 A 받았다는 무슨 돈을 그거 뭔가? 그거 받아오고, 또 하나는 알트 잘했다고 받아오고, 또 선생님은 뭐 하나 준 것도 받아오고, 막 3개 받았더라고. 평소도 안 받아온 것 같아. 정말 어떤 마음을 드는 것 같아. 얼마나 많은지 말도 못해. 대전장 받아오지, 뭐 받아오지, 뭐, 애들 생기면 막 이만큼이야. 다 갖다 버려야 돼.
여기는 그 아카데미에서는 그거 한 잔씩 주고 누나가 그거 하나 받고 그러더라고요. 그리고 없더라고요. 내가 그쪽에
가져왔더라고 우리 큰애도 저번에.
아, 조나단
가자. 가자.
Stand right there, little. You'll see it right now, okay? Sit down, honey.
Please, no, I usually sit
Junior, up here. You can't see down there. Tell him to come up here.
Come up here. Junior.
por allá, Cholita. Por allá.
수영 많이 했어요.
서울대요. No, por ahí. Aquí
Sí. Van a llegar bien empapados.
You got wet? No. That would no. That's not smoke, that's water. Really? Everybody down. Did that one down? Yeah, it's slippery up there. You can fall in the water and down and you can lift on the back. We're going to get the slip down there. Yeah, that's slippery down there. And not right there. No, not right there. That's where the rocks are. See where the wall is? So we can't do that. And they look died. When they're here. Only be right there. Only by here. That's where.
See it from there? Hey.
That one is red rock.
Michael, get over here.
Arturo, no te me subas.
굳었어.
많이 죽였어? 아빠 저거를 꽂아가지고 뭐 하는 거야?
신나게
아빠 저런 거 어떻게 하는 거야?
Thank you. Thank you.
We don't know what kind it is. He also sings the beautiful song of a sparrow. That's why are you staring at me? Do a sparrow. Me or him? The bird. The bird. Do a sparrow.
이거 하나밖에 안 넣고.
I know. Bruce, a sparrow. Okay, he doesn't do one, all right? Lolita sings. She does. Well, wouldn't that be dandy? You want her to sing? Sure. She's been working on this. It's real pretty. Not a sparrow, but any song's better than no song. Just the same. That's lovely. You can sing along if you like. Feel free. Oh boy. She's in there. Second verse. No. How many verses are there? We've got 42. That's too many. Too many. Big finish. That a girl. I loved it. It's a delightful song. Thank you. Bruce, did you hear that song? Ron, did you hear it? You did. What did you think? Be too clever. Thank you. Okay, Bruce has a tail, like Colonel Sanders. Can you picture it? It would be very short employment. Sunny. Oh, I'm sorry. We apologize. Oh, he's right. We didn't mean it. It was a joke. Well, all right then. Bruce has an imitation that will astound you. It's very difficult for parents. It's the sound of a human kiss. Huh? Doesn't any lips. That's why that's so difficult for. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Okay, we have to say goodbye to Lolita now, but before we do, we'll have her say her name. This time we'll make her work for it. Okay, what's your name? Politely. Can't hear you. Well, politely. We still can't hear you. That's very loud. That's Lolita, Miss Liza Beck. And Bruce has a couple other imitations that he can do. His first one's a flying saucer. There. Pretty good, huh? And you didn't think he could do this. He does a sparrow. He does a harmless bomb. A bomb. This one's very handy. He does a little siren. A siren. Yeah, the sound of trickling.
Try a little softer. Ah, there you go. That's a little more like it. Now, he got his reputation by being a terrific singer, but like all great performers, he must first warm up. One more. There you go. He's all warmed up for you now. What's Cisco? Warm up. And a high one. Good job, Pancho. Nicely done. Thank you. Now it's time for his grand finale, one of our personal favorites, when it's springtime in the Rockies. Atta bird, say goodbye. 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 That's
We have a very unusual. Sometimes flying with their feet for long distances, they can use the rock as a tool. They'll pick the rock up with their beak, throw it down the egg, and often a very good sized meal is served. Now Tiva is racing out here to show you how it works. He came to the wild animal park to be put on exhibit. Tiva was imported as a hooded vulture. Hooded vultures and Egyptian vultures look identical in their immature plumage. Both are chocolate brown. They have the same head shape. White feathers started coming in on Tiva. It was then figured out that he was an Egyptian. So we brought him up here to the show. We knew about the behavior. We gave him an egg, about a dozen stones to look at, but then in 25 minutes he had it opened up. He didn't like any of our flat rocks either. Ooh, we got a little hole in it there. What they can do then is they can pry the shell open with their hooked beak. You see that he can detect cracks very easily with those sharp talons he's got. There we are, pops right open. That's one technique they'll use. The interesting thing about this too is he kept going back to the same rock. It looks a lot like an egg itself. We don't think that's a coincidence. They seem to be kind of keyed into that shape. The real beauty of this too is we didn't train this behavior. We don't even handle the bird. We open up the door, he comes out here and opens up the egg, and when he's all finished, he leaves. As he does, you'll notice he has flat walking feet. They're very terrestrial birds, spend a lot of time on the ground. They're also beautiful in the air with a lovely wedge-shaped tail. Once again, that's Tiba. He's an Egyptian bull. Exactly how that works right now. That's what we use with Yo-Yo. As you can see, he comes out on stage, so very fond of affection. And then I give him the secret emu hand signal. Spins him on his heels. Oops, wrong way. And there we go, sends him dashing back across, oops, the lawn. Over there to Gary. Now Gary, in his infinite training wisdom, again offers him another bite of his favorite food treats. This lets him know he's done the behavior properly. Another little pat on the back. And if we're very lucky, we might hear some verbal praise today.
Good bird!
Yeah. Very special from Gary. Another secret emu hand signal, lickety split. Here comes Max. Just running back over here to me. We've been working with Max for 14 years now. This is all we've been able to teach this bird to do. We're very proud of him, though. We think he does a fine job. What do you think? Isn't he just wonderful? Now, some of you might be thinking that this is very close to nothing. Named from the golden-colored feathers that you see located at the nape of the neck. Diana weighs 9 pounds, and she has a wingspan over 6 feet. Eagles are very beneficial in the wild, as are all birds of prey. They'll eat small rodents such as rats, mice, squirrels, gophers. They'll eat snakes, and they're not above eating carrion either. So that does help to keep the wild cleaned up for us in that respect. Harriet, come on out of there. We've got a lure. Watch for it. Right over the rock. Perfect.
Well, how about a hand for our fine feathered performers? And on behalf of all of us at the show, Miss Sunny Black, Liza Beck, and myself, Jerry Fauché, thank you for joining us here at the San Diego Wild Albatross Street Fly Bird Show. You're a terrific audience. Hope to see you get our hot talk, which is taking place right outside left of the theater, and enjoy the rest of your day at the park. Bye-bye.
Take as many photographs as you like. Flashes don't bother any of the birds. And if you'd like me to maneuver Samantha in any way, just let me know. The wingspan? I'll do the wingspan just this once, so get your cameras ready because what I have to do is throw her off balance and she doesn't like that too much. So. Okay, this is Samantha. She is a red-tailed hawk, a very common bird around here. Over there on your right is Bucko. He's a gray. You can see them together. You're not very likely to anyway because she's diurnal, which means she's daytime. She's usually soaring up there, meaning she's not flapping her wings a whole bunch. She's got good soaring wings. They usually have a light-colored underbody and a dark back with a red tail. That's how they get their name. Often you can see the sun glinting through their tail, and that's how you can tell what you're looking at for sure. This is a raptor. She's a bird of prey. She doesn't care for any of the side dishes like fruits and vegetables. She only goes for the main course, the meat. She hunts for food. The way she does that is that's just a beetle. Don't anybody worry about it. It's one of those green, pretty beetles. She looks for her food. She uses her vision. Raptors are thought to have just about the best vision in the animal kingdom. They have 4 or 5 times more the visual cells in their eyes. So from hundreds and hundreds of feet up there, they're still able to spot a little mouse running around the field below. What they'll do in that case is they'll tuck in their wings, go into that high-speed dive called the stoop, which was demonstrated at the end of the last show, if you saw it, by our Harris hawk. The Harris hawks can reach pretty good speeds from a good altitude, anywhere from 80 maybe to 90 miles an hour for the Harris hawk. This bird's even faster. The red-tailed hawks can reach about 125 miles an hour.
엄마 지금은 일어날 거야. 어디 스탠드야?
베개 하나 더 줘야 되겠다. 쟤 눈 떴어? 떴다 감았다.
They have a thumb and everything, don't they?
Baby just came out. Oh, there's the baby.
Weighs 50
Down here, I'm looking up.
어디로 가나?
Let's get to the monorail so we can get arrested.
Why? Wasn't it
힘들어. 쟤 어디 가니?
응.
찍어줄까?
Okay, we gotta go.
Mom.
We have to go. We're gonna go see the kangaroo.
Look at me, man.
Do you want a cookie?
Now all this is a Hi, Handan. You have fun playing in the water?
Well, as slow and awkward as they may appear on land, in a moment you will see how their movements are swift and graceful as they enter the water. Beavers are members of the rodent family, and they are the largest breeds. Now, in the wild, beavers live in family groups called colonies, and they work together to build their lodge or their dam. The most important tool that they use in construction is not the tail. They don't pack mud on their tail. That's just a misconception. Actually, it's their incisor teeth. Their teeth can reach lengths of up to 3 inches long. It'll only take a beaver about a minute to gnaw through a tree trunk that is several inches thick. And then sometimes a group of beavers are seen working together to bring down the larger, thicker trees. Now, the tail actually does have a variety of other functions. It's actually more importantly served as a rudder while they're swimming around in the water, or as a kickstand or a balance as the beaver stands on his hind legs to reach up to chew the higher parts of the tree. Well, few animals have had as much influence in our history as the North American beaver. Even wars such as the French and Indian War was fought over access to beaver fur trapping areas. Luckily, and June, 2 North American beavers on their way out.
War in June.
That is the fastest on land that they get. But of raccoons as being bandits, and I think the most obvious would be their appearance. It looks like they wear a mask. So let me go ahead and try and get this raccoon a little bit closer to you folks so he can show it off. So are you ready, Ralph? Get all the way up there and look just like a bandit. Oh, very nice. All right, we're going to try this one more time so you folks can get a better look. Get all the way up there, Ralph, and show it off. Whoa. But slipped but may recovered as well. Very good, Ralph. Of course, there is another reason, and that's their mischievous nature. They have a tendency to get into places that they really don't belong and speak. So what I'd like to do is try and convince him to stop in this raccoon now. Searches around, trying to work his way inside that basket. He's in there. I think he's got something. Hang on! Never ever leave your picnic basket unattended. Or they will steal whatever they find, and in Ralph's case, bring it right back to you. We actually found an empty can in there, didn't we? That's really nice. We just happened to recycle these out at the park. And if you do have an empty can or bottle, be sure you just don't toss it anywhere. You might have a raccoon bringing it back to you, just like Ralph will. Very nice. So go ahead, find our bins, put your empties in there, and we'll take care of it. I feel like that. Very good. Alright, there is this one final thing that he's going to do for everybody. This is for joining us out at the show and gives him an opportunity to show off those paws of his one more time. Are you ready? Are you done chewing? Okay, it's time for the big raccoon. Well, raccoons are extremely adaptable animals. They're found from southern Canada into Central America. Tell everybody what kind of animal you think Spike is. He is a porcupine. That's exactly what Spike is, Joe. I bet you know the porcupines are just covered in quills, right?
Yeah, they are. They're covered in quills. That's a uniquely designed defense. Have you heard about how porcupines can shoot those quills at predators? If you haven't heard that? Well, you're asking me? I tell you what, Joe, he's not really sure about this. I want you to be a predator. Okay, he's ready. He's game for this. All right, this is what I want you to do, Joe. I want you to put this on. We call this a quill catcher. It's for your safety, all right? And mine as well. Now, what I want you to do is sit anywhere where you think you can catch the most quills from Spike. And you can take home as many as you can. So, Joe, place yourself where you feel most comfortable. Not behind me. That's not part of the rules. Very good. Actually, I'm looking at this. There's too much space here. You got to get a little bit closer. Yeah, that would be much better. And you want to stretch the quill catcher out, Joe. Okay, that's very good. Now, Spike is anxiously waiting to get a little bit closer. Okay, that's really good. Joe, let me just see this. Closer. A little bit closer. Are you ready? He's ready. He's not going to shoot those quills, actually. Not really going to happen. You look a little disappointed. Actually, it's probably a good thing because you see how Spike is sort of pointed to the front row here? Wouldn't that have been fun if they got to catch him all instead? So let me go ahead and take this back. Now, would you like to pet this porcupine? Yeah, let me show you how it's done. He knows something's up. Let me show you how it's done. That was rule number 1 that I just. Make sure that Spike is always eating because we worry a lot about his teeth. Second rule is you don't ever want to rub a porcupine the wrong way. I think you know what is the right way. It's sort of head to tail, like that. So go ahead and pet Spike. Very good. And you can keep petting him, and I can talk a little bit about those quills. They're just modified hairs with tiny little barbs at the tip. So let's say that while Joe was petting, a quill got stuck in his hand. Kind of unfortunate, let's just say. The barb, to work that quill in deeper and deeper. Keep petting though. And deeper. And deeper into the hand until it's very difficult to pull the quill out. You see, once the quill goes in, it goes in one direction only. All right, I think everybody's kind of curious. What does Spike feel like to you? Like a dog. He actually has very coarse hair, much like maybe a terrier might have. And the quills are just underneath. In fact, you will be amazed that you have just pet, look at that, 30,000 quills. Isn't that amazing? He did it the right way. You see, if he pet the wrong way, he would have felt it. Oh, look at that, Spike's out of food. You know what, so am I. So let's go ahead and step back. And we're going to have Letty pick up Spike and give everybody a much better look at an animal that has been nicknamed the Quill Pig. I'm going to hand to Spike and Joe from New Jersey. Thank you so much. You did very well. Have a great day out at the park, and you folks can watch Spike exit in his very personal chauffeur-driven Spike Mobile. There he goes, like that. Now, there have been
I do have such a misunderstood animal that maybe I should just go ahead and get it up close to the audience.
Very close, Mary. Go right ahead.
Well, I have a question for all of you. How many of you have ever seen one of these rare creatures?
Yeah, right.
Before? Oh dear, look at all those hands. I really can't convince you she's...
Now, opossums are excellent tree climbers. One thing helps them to climb around trees is their tail.
Since you can wrap it around like that, that's called a prehensile tail. Now, some people think an opossum will spend all day just hanging by that tail. Actually, that's just another misconception. What they're going to use this tail for instead is more like a fifth. They move from one tree limb to another. Plus, she's got something else. It makes her home both up in the trees and down in the ground, and that's her thumbs. Now, she doesn't have thumbs in her hands like we do. Her thumbs, as small as they are, maybe some of you can get a close-up look, they're located on her back feet only. But they are opposable, just like the we have on our hands, so she is able to use them to grasp and hold on really tightly. Now, there's this one last misconception I'd like to clear up about opossums. People have a tendency to think that these are really very slow-moving, awkward animals on land, and that's why they get into so much trouble on our roads and on our streets. Well, we're here to show you that isn't always the case. Now, Pocket, they have no faith in you, Pocket. Watch how she goes, though. You'll be amazed at the speed. Look at her go. Blur, blur. She's making her way. She did it. That was Pocket. You could use a couple of turkeys.
Wait a minute. Not if you put it to them like that. You make it sound like a joke.
It is. This is silly.
No, this is important because there were some very important people in our history that thought highly of this majestic bird here.
I can't think of any important person.
Benjamin Franklin?
No.
Got out there, campaigned to have the turkey name as our national symbol. Thank
Learn
you.
something new every day. We didn't need to know that, though.
Actually, they look like they'd rather have the eagle as our symbol.
Well, naturally, of course.
All right, that does work out. about that, but our history when it was in the making. For this to work, you really do have to cheer these birds on. They've got real names. You can have Carl or Lewis. They're the jumping turkeys going 300 millimeters right over there. Let's go! Come on, Carl! Hurry, jump! Wait just a minute here. One cheated. But do you think these birds could be our next Olympic symbol? Please help me welcome out our North American black bear, Haas. Now, being a black bear, Haas is one of 3 types of bears that are found in North America. The other types are the polar bear and the brown or grizzly bear. Now, even though they're called black bears, you can tell even by looking at Haas, that doesn't mean they have to have black colored fur. As a matter of fact, black bears can range in colors from blonde to cinnamon to brown to the more common black bays. Now, the respect and awe that Native Americans felt towards bears can be seen in their arts and in their legends. For example, one story explains how the bear, by reaching up, would get its strength from the sun. And many tribes often refer to the bear as the animal who can stand upright and walk just like a man. Really nice art. Now, sell for tens of thousands of dollars on the black market. I find it really sad to think that a 400-pound bear, much like Haas in size, would be killed for an 8-ounce gallbladder. Now, throughout our own history, we view bears in many different ways, usually at the expense of the bear, though. When people were first settling this country, there were many bears, both black and brown, but they were seen as a serious menace, and as a result, they were exterminated. Even here in San Diego County, there were once bears, but the last one was killed here in the early 1900s. I think there's a good chance you might just get a nice Starting in the 1920s, it became a popular attraction to view bears in the dump sites of the national parks found throughout our country. You see, bears are omnivorous, which means they eat just about anything from meat to fruit and vegetables to plant matter. So they found their way into our campsites, attracted by the smell of our food. Now, this did lead to some dangerous interactions between humans and bears because the humans got too close. They thought the bears were tame, when in fact no wild animal in its natural environment or even in captivity is ever truly tame. But today we do realize that with proper wildlife management, both bears and people can share some of the same spaces. And I hope by giving you this chance to discover these truly special animals that you'll appreciate the important role our own native wildlife has played in our lives and in our heritage. Because from the very first Americans to you and me, these animals have been an important link to the natural scheme of life. And hopefully with just a little bit of thought and concern from all of us, they'll still be around for our grandchildren's grandchildren to appreciate and enjoy. Well, we hope you're having a great day here at the Wild Animal Park. Thanks for joining us on our walk across America. Bye-bye.
That's Carol, our 1994 gold medalist on the balance beam. Of course, we'd like to affectionately known as Nadia Comaneci of the pachyderm world. Ooh, looks like a corn on the cob is. Just one. Okay, give her a carrot too. There we go.
Yeah, I'll add a carrot.
Yeah, there's little mixed vegetables there.
Quite a difficult task.
Yes, that's always nice to get a good reinforcement. She probably tasted it, but then again, you never know.
Hey, I'll go ahead and talk to Carol today and see what she wants to do next.
That's good. Actually, Ed is going to translate for us because Ed understands what Carol has to say because Ed was raised by elephants. Oh, really? We found him wandering naked in the jungles of Burma, and he had trunk marks all over his body. So we assumed that he knew what elephants talk about. So he will translate. He does it all the time, so he'll tell us what she's going to say.
All right. Carol?
Get a mouthful in.
Stock up for the winter. Can I have that back?
It's like, yeah, here's some ice cream. Can I have it back now? Right.
Carol, what do you want to do today? What do you want to do now, Carol?
Okay.
Try there.
I think she has her mouth full, Ed. Remember we taught her not to talk with her mouth full. There we go.
Okay, well.
That was kind of short.
How much would you get out of her?
That was kind of a short message today.
Yeah, it's a good one. Actually, she wants to play a little catch, Larry.
Okay, you got something down there we can use?
Sure can. Yeah, sure do. We have a bamboo log right here.
Okay, great. Now what this does really is it gives you a good example of elephant dexterity and flexibility in their trunks. Their trunk's an extension of the upper lip and the nose. They've got 40,000 muscles in their trunks. So they can pick up a sunflower seed or rip a 1-ton tree out of the ground with that trunk. And then hopefully today catch a bamboo log. Now of course if she misses it, it's what's the matter? Is there a problem?
Might be a little tense. Let me ask her to loosen up a little bit.
A little stretch, there you go. Yeah, get a little stretch before you do this. There we go. Wouldn't want her to strain her trunk. Okay. Good girl, Carol. Very good job, eh? Of course, she's probably got apples stuck up in her trunk. So maybe see if we can get them out.
Just to make sure there's nothing stuck in that trunk.
Want to clear those airways.
There we go. Let's clear that nostril.
There we go. A little better. Very good. All right. Actually, the trumpet, we've been working on her trumpet because Carol was hand-raised in a children's zoo at the San Diego Zoo, and she thinks she's a person. So we've been teaching her elephant, little things with elephants. There we go. There she is. I don't know if she was going to do it there for a while. Probably a couple of apples stuck in there.
I was trying really hard there. That was pretty easy, Larry.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and ask for the most difficult behavior to train next. Just like her stage.
You get over where, just like right now, Ed's her protector while she lies down. There she goes, Timber. Oh, Carol, good girl. Oh, a little brunch in bed here. A few bananas while you're lying down relaxing. Not too bad, huh? You lay there and get people feed you. Not too hard to take. Now, elephants do sleep lying down, but they also sleep standing up. And the reason they sleep standing up is their incredible weight. If they lie down for any longer than about 4 hours, they actually cut off circulation and respiration to those internal organs because of the weight pressing down on their bodies.
So you might not be able to do it this time, but
well,
we'll
try. We'll give her as much enthusiasm as we can. Okay?
All right, I'll make a loud noise.
Okay, let's help her out. Come on. Come on, Carol. You can do it. Come on, Carol. Let's get that one. All the way, Carol. All the way, Carol. You can do it. That's it. Yes, Carol. All right. Oh, all right. Woo. Thanks a lot. That's Carol's sit-up. It's not real pretty yet, but she's getting there. It's
trying real hard, Larry.
She's trying very hard. We train every day. We work on this. As her muscles get stronger, she'll be kind of straighter up. Pretty soon she'll be sitting up like anybody else does. But this is a new behavior for her, so she's doing great. And she gets some corn on the cob. This is what, by the way, we give her corn on the cob and different things. This is called the magnitude of reinforcement, or jackpot. It's kind of getting a bonus at work for doing a good job. We give our animals bone is very thin back there. They have very large veins. So what they do by flapping their ears, they actually cool the blood going through their veins. So they can lower. That feel pretty good? Okay.
One last final behavior, Larry.
Oh, she's gonna wave everybody? Oh. Good girl, Carol. Well, I hope you enjoyed, Carol. I have one more favor to ask you before you go. You may have heard a sound like fans underneath the stands. Those are fans. We're trying a new system here. It's what they call a misting system. It's fans with a little tubing on it that blows kind of a wet mist with it's hooked up to a hose. Do you think it makes it feel any better here?
Yeah.
Okay. So we should tell the guys that it's doing a good job to put a few more in? Yeah. Great. Well, we would appreciate it. Well, right now, because the way the stands are set up, it's kind of blocking it. So they're going to put fans up on top. And it tells me that it'll take and cool this area by 30 degrees. So that'd be cool. So then we'd be here for the shows.
This is cheetahs. Coming on the ground, look down, you see them? Mom. What is this one?
준민아.
많이 찍어? 엄마! 나 엄마 찍어줄게.
진짜 여기로 온다. 엄마.
Oh shit! I'm in. 되게 많이 왔네. 손 찍어.
아이, 아직. 자. 이게 아빠다. 엄마, 저걸 떼려고 그래. 이거 했어. 이거 빨간 거? 어.
몇 개야 이거 film? film 몇 개야? 몇 개 있어?
민아.
지금. Hello.
왜? 민아. 민아. 또 온다.
저기 찍어. Hey. Right for food. No, 3 on that one, 2 on that one.
This is a quarter of a mile. I gotta go back around.
엄마, 아빠.
Hello, do you want to be on the trail later?
엄마,
I want the truck excursion.
아빠, 애들 2명. 있어요.
Let's go. Let's go, bumper. Let's go. 그럼 어디 찍어?
Finds individual zebras, so they have handprints as we have fingerprints. Large dark brown animals just down below the fence line. These are all of the Cape buffalo. Don't want to mess around with the Cape buffalo. Most of the time they were winning. So now we've isolated them and they just pick fights with one another. Now I've got a question for you. Are zebras white animals with black stripes or black animals with white stripes?
White and black.
Black? Well, that's what most people think. They think maybe white with black because they've got white bellies. They're actually black animals with white stripes. The reason for this, if you were to shave off all of their fur, their skin underneath is completely black. And out in Africa recently, we have spotted some all black zebras. Mutation that's now been passed down through a couple generations of zebras. The
If you look just down below the fence line, you can see a couple of feeders down here.
Oh, rhinoceros!
These small animals are the Persian goitered gazelles. They weigh about 30 to 40 pounds when they reach adulthood. But when their females give birth, they give birth to one horned rhino because they only have one small horn on their head. In some of our other enclosures, you're going to see African rhinoceros. The one over on the left-hand side is our largest one here. She's a female, and she's quite large. She weighs well over 6,000 pounds. Now, as you look at their skin, you'll notice that these Indian rhinos have a lot of large folds in them. It makes them look like they've got armor plating on and are impenetrable. But don't let that armor plating effect fool you, because rhinos actually have very sensitive skin. They spend the majority of their day wallowing in mud and water. It makes their skin very soft and tender. So if you were to scratch them, they'd actually bleed fairly readily. Indian rhinos. 2,000 to 3,000 pounds. If you look over on the left-hand side, you can see some Layla to the right and their little youngster Tajura, about 6 months old on the left. They're the most endangered of the wild ass family. Now less than 200 of them left in the world. They're being hunted. And they're a great success story for the wild animal park. Jump down and use their horns as dagger handles. Now, after World War II, there were a lot of semi-automatic weapons left in this region of Oman. And the Bedouin tribes that once used to hunt them are now their protectors. The pineapple will release them back out to the wild. Also just down below us, you can see some light. This is the bachelor herd of male nilgas that I mentioned earlier when we first came into this enclosure. The ones that go and check. This is North Africa. By the theater, you can see some white animals with tan necklines and huge swept-back horns. Here at the Wild Animal Park, we actually have the largest herd in the world. We've had a great deal of success and recently featured in the new film by Disney, The Lion King. The animators from Disney came out to the park and used our different color pattern between males and females. In this case, the females are the orange one, males are the dark chocolate brown, have a white patch behind their head, and lyre-shaped horns curving back. Particularly the rhinos and the giraffes. They love the photo caravans. If you're interested in doing one of these, you might want to contact Guest Relations. It does cost quite a bit more than the admission to the Wild Animal Park is. It's well worth the price. Unfortunately, the northern white rhinos are the most endangered large land mammal. There are less than 40 of them left in the world. They've been hunted extensively for those large horns. They're cut off the animals and then ground up into a fine powder and sold as fever remedies and aphrodisiacs. Now the sad thing about this situation is that rhino horn doesn't have any special medicinal properties. It's composed of the exact same protein you find in hair and fingernails, called keratin. But on the black market, rhino horns can sell for over $32,000 a pound. It's a very lucrative business. Now we have 2 males and 2 females of the northern white rhinos here at the Wild Animal Park. We're trying to be the emblem of the Wild Animal Park, and that's because of our great deal of success in breeding them here. Basically, prior to our opening, no one had been able to successfully breed them in captivity, and they'd been kept in small cages, maybe 2 of our animals per cage. But we tried something very different. We gave them 100 acres of open space to run around freely in, and began with a breeding population of 19 females and 1 male. Although that 1 male had shown no prior interest in mating, once he was put in here, was able to sire over 59 offspring. They're the white-tailed gnu. They've been hunted fairly extensively back in the 1800s. Those tails were cut off the animals and then sold as fancy fly swatters. Real unfortunate situation. Luckily, a boar farmer was able to preserve about 300 of them on his own private ranch, and that's why they're in existence today. Over to the left in North Africa, just behind your shoulder, you can see one of our dromedary camels. Her name is Beelzebub. Now if you take a look on her back, you can see she's got a large hump. Now that hump is where camels fit accurately to 20 feet. So keep that in mind if you get a chance to get close to a camel. Just down below us, you're going to see a road running 3 days old, and her name is Pombe. You see a dirt road down below us leads up to one of our feeders. By the feeders, we've got 2 different animals here. Some that look like our North American bison, kind of large, brown, and shaggy. They're called European Wisents, found in Poland. And on either side of the Wisent, you can see some tan animals with white legs. These are the Jalvan Banteng cattle. Pretty endangered now. You can also see 2 gray birds with red faces. One's perching the water, the other one's in it. They're the Indian Saurus cranes. And they're the symbol of marital fidelity in many Asian countries because they do mate for life. And a lot of people like to commonly refer to bison as buffalo. That's an incorrect term that's lasted for about 150 or more years. If you want to see a true buffalo species, look in the water, and believe it or not, domestic water buffalo are the source of true mozzarella cheese. So if you were to go to Europe or Asia and order a pizza, then why they're in existence today. But it's also due to the efforts of a man named David, who went to visit the current emperor back in the 1800s. He got 18 of them for exhibit in zoos in Europe. And it was a really good thing that he did this because 30 years after that, there was a great flood in China. All the pure Davids they were killed. So the ones we have today are now descended from those original 18 brought into the zoos. You can see some of our domestic water buffalo now just walking down the slopes of the dirt. Just down below us, we have Turkmen Marquar. I believe the Turkmen Marquar may be the ancestors of all of our modern-day goats. The Marquar means snake-like. Now here's Wild Animal Park. We have about 60 to 70 keepers. I'll give you a few minutes here. Let's see how many of these animals you can count. See how well you'd make it as one of our keepers. And then I'll let you know how many there really are.
여자 바위 있는 거 봤어?
그거 들었어.
Mom, make me soft.
Well, as you kind of know, I'll tell you just a little bit more about them, or tell you how many there are. Strong grasping potential. So let's see, how are we doing on our counts? Anybody get 20 of these animals? Or 30? And just down below us to the right, we're back into South Africa. Look over on the left-hand side, so just about to learn his lesson. He likes to mess around with the zebras to this day. Just down below the fence line here, you can see it. And if you look down in the small little enclosure, you can see Peggy. Curious about this new board. A lot of the giraffe will come in and just poke their long heads down over the side. And over on the left side, the Mongolian wild the San Diego Zoo Wild Animal Park and about 70 other facilities participating in a species of survival plan to help repopulate this species out in the wild. Now, so far between the zoo and the Wild Animal Park alone, we've had over 100 birds. And our goal is sometime within the next year or two to release a troop back out into the Gobi Desert in China, their former so sometime within the next year or two, keep an eye out. Probably be announcing it on the news. Now, these animals do have two. Now, we're able to keep all of our birds on exhibit without them flying away because we're required by law to do a process called pinioning to them. That means we trim the digit on one of their wings. They can still fly, but they can't gain a lot of altitude to fly up and over the enclosures. This is required by the U.S. Fish and Game Service and ensures that all of the birds that we have on exhibit won't mate with the native ones. And if they do, it's within the confines of the Wild Animal Park, so we can monitor on the situation. A few animals over here that you can see that are on exhibit. Most of the other ones are local birds for their ill temper. But you might notice the color on this animal is no more black than any of the other rhinoceros. But when they were first spotted, they were wallowing in mud and water, just as most rhinos do, and they look very black in color. And they assume that was their pattern from the food that they eat. Much of their diet does consist of eating shrimp, so that gives them a pinkish orange hue. And when you refer to a group of flocks, another little piece of trivia for you, if you're into animal groupings, we refer to a group of rhinos as a crash of rhinos. I don't see our animals on exhibit here. They're the pygmy chimps, and because they're such endangered animals, we don't make them stay on exhibit. They don't want to be out, they don't have to be. They're found only in the rainforests of Zaire and the sea that eating them would give you leprosy. Coffee with her mother. Back in the left-hand corner. You can also see some other brown animals just down below us. These are yellowback duskers. Paradise. Below them, we have a flamboyance of Chile. For the first time, they're 22. Now, gibbons do mate for life. There's a dominant male and female food, and the lord fish will come and feed off of your arms and hands.